Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Neidigh. I want to touch on a few things that have happened recently in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case. Things have slowed down quite a lot, which I think was expected, and I haven't been, putting out as much content on it. Usually I wait for something a little more significant to happen before I'll make a whole video, but we've had a couple things going on here and there, so I'll just go over that really quickly. The first of those was just put up this afternoon. So the parties in Jones versus Abel had jointly asked for the post-discovery status conference to be postponed. It was supposed to be October 21st, which would have been next week, but now it's been moved to December 9th, which again is not really surprising because the schedule has changed a lot lately. They had actually asked for it to be moved to November 13th, but I guess he decided to give him a little more time than that. And I know I saw that pop up in Jones versus Abel, but it applies to Lively, Wayfarer too, so it all kind of groups together. Now remember, Jen Abel has until October 31st to file an amended complaint because the judge dismissed a bunch of her claims against Stephanie Jones, but without prejudice. There was only one that was thrown out with prejudice, but that was a claim that she had abandoned. There's been a lot of talk lately about this audio recording that was recorded without Steve Sarowitz's knowledge or consent from Claire Ayub. So Claire recorded a conversation between her and Steve, which is apparently the origin of this statement that Blake Lively keeps complaining about, where she thinks that he's threatening her and Ryan and everybody, and going to retaliate against them. It sounded to me like he wanted to defend the studio. He was just saying that in kind of a colorful way. Maybe some people would consider those comments disrespectful, but we don't have the full context of that. So the thing about this recording that's so sketchy, other than the fact that she didn't tell or ask Steve, about recording the conversation, is that Claire Ayub was, having issues and asking Wayfarer not to include Justin in the sort of marketing and stuff of her project Empire Waste because of the stuff that was going on with It Ends With Us. So because of what Blake Lively was saying, because of what was happening with Blake Lively, she didn't want Justin involved in the promotion of her film Empire Waste. So Claire goes ahead and records Steve without his knowledge or consent, and then sends that recording over to Blake Lively. Blake Lively then produces this in discovery. It's not as if Claire was subpoenaed and had to hand over that recording or information. She just voluntarily gave it to Blake long before these lawsuits were ever filed. So it seems to me that she went into that meeting with Steve with a motive, intending to give that information to Blake. If you ask me, that's pretty sketchy. But this audio recording is the only thing that was recently unsealed that has not yet been released. So somebody from the public, I believe it was somebody from the Reddit, which I'm a little wary about sharing people's names or usernames without their permission, so I'm not going to do that right now. But a member of the public, was inquiring about this, and I guess a number of other people did afterwards, maybe because they're saying here they've received multiple inquiries. They contacted the court asking about this recording. And so the judge put out this order today. The court has received inquiries from the public regarding Exhibit 1 to Plaintiff Blake Lively's motion for fees and damages under California Civil Code Section 47.1, which the court previously ordered unsealed. The court has been informed that the exhibit cannot be filed on the public docket, as the electronic case filing system does not support audio files. The court therefore requests the parties' assistance in publicly releasing the file. The parties are directed to file a joint letter by October 17th, updating the court with respect to those efforts. So I guess people were speculating about why that recording hadn't been released, and there, were a couple of people who were saying, maybe it's just because it doesn't come out through the e-filing system the way that all this other stuff does. And I guess that seems to be true, but there are people online who are saying that they have followed other cases in this court where audio files have been successfully attached to PDFs and then released to the public that way. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. Though remember that Wayfarer were the ones who asked for this to be unsealed because they want Steve Sarowitz's full, conversation, full context to come to light. It's not a super long recording from what I can tell, but, it is important to get the full context. And then, they're saying that Steve was just going to defend the studio. Blake's saying it was something more nefarious. So yes, it's important to hear it straight from the recording. My friend CJ makes an interesting point here, though. Blake Lively, in paragraph 123 of her first amended complaint, referencing Mr. Baldoni, she said, "You can't just record people without asking," and then uses Claire Ayub's secret recording in paragraph 169. She is a walking contradiction. That certainly seems to be true. This is not the first time Blake Lively has held different standards for herself than she has for others. There's unfortunately not much more I can tell you right now since we don't have the recording, but I guess we will at least, they will at least have made an effort by Saturday. So I guess we'll have some more to talk about then. Hopefully it'll just be out there. I mean, we do have the lawsuitinfo.com, guys. Why don't we just release it on there? I'm gonna guess Blake is not gonna agree to that one, but still, it would be easy. Anyways, that's all I got for now, guys. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you all soon. Sorry I've been a little MIA lately. Was dealing with some health stuff. And just been a busy person. I'm about to be traveling again on Saturday. So, thanks, and I'll talk to you later.